Hey guys, what is up? My name is Karen, aka cakedbybabyk, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing kind of a somewhat different video. In my previous video with my chatty Get Ready With Me, if you haven't seen it, I will link it down below or in the eye. I was talking kind of about my college experience and how I kind of flip-flopped back and forth with what I wanted to do, and a lot of you guys gave me positive feedback and you said that you wanted me to do a whole dedicated video / story time. So we're gonna do that today. This is my first ever story time, like no makeup whatsoever. So I hope you guys enjoy. And if you do, like this video, give it a thumbs up. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload. I upload every Wednesday and every Sunday. So be sure to hit the bell and get notified whenever that happens. So a little background story. I am a education major at a school in San Diego right now. I'm in my final year. I'm graduating in the spring. And for those of you wondering if I got my classes that I was talking about in my previous video, I did get my classes. I'm on track to graduate still. I got 2 of the classes that I needed and the rest I just need elective units. So hooray! Like I said, I'm an education major. In kindergarten, I had this amazing teacher who really inspired me, and she was such a big influence on my life. We kept in touch up until about my senior year of high school, and after I started college, we kind of lost touch a little bit. But she was an amazing teacher. She basically changed my life. If it weren't for her, like, my life would be completely different. A lot of the big successes that I have in my life, I really owe it all to her, because that is all traceable back to when I was in her class. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but basically she was just a really amazing person and teacher and influence in my life. So I always knew that I wanted to teach in some way. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna be a kindergarten teacher, because when I was in kindergarten, she inspired me so much. So all throughout my life, basically up until that point and to when I was applying for colleges, I did not think about any other career or major. I was just like, straight away, I'm going into education. I'm going to be a kindergarten teacher. Like, there's no doubt about it. And a lot of people were just like, wow, you're so lucky, you know what you want to do. And I'm just like, yeah, I know. Like, I am super lucky, and I felt like super happy that I didn't have to stress about finding what I wanted to do when everybody else was like scrambling to declare a major. And that was honestly, I think, mistake number 1. Not that I would change anything that happened in my life, because that was a huge part of my life that makes me who I am. But if I were to give any advice to you guys, if you are in high school and you need to pick, this lighting keeps on changing and I'm so upset. But if you are junior, senior in high school and it's about time to pick what you want to do, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to pick what you want to do for the rest of your life at 17 and 18 years old. I think it is the dumbest thing that society pressures us to do, because honestly, how do you know what you want to do for the rest of your life when you're literally a child? So fast forward to my sophomore year of college, because that's when I really started to get into my major classes. You know, the classes where you learn about stuff you're going to be doing in the future. Like, for me, it was all about differentiating instruction for different students and working with special needs students and, you know, all the basics of teaching. And with those classes, I had to do observation hours. So my very first semester, as basically like not a student teacher, but just like someone observing a classroom, I was placed into a first grade class. And like I said before, I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher, like hands down. I love little kids. I think they are the cutest ever, and I still do. But when I was placed in that first grade class, literally, that is when I found out that no, I can't do this. I don't have the patience for it. Like, I don't have the energy for it. I don't have the willpower. After that semester and after the first couple of weeks of being in those observation courses, my heart just sank, because there was a part of me that knew that maybe I wasn't meant to do this, and maybe that this was not the career that is for me. So I really struggled with that. from sophomore year on. I think up until like even till the end of last year, I struggled with it for a long time. So basically all of sophomore and junior year, I was just kind of floundering and just going with the flow and just not really doing anything for a specific purpose, but just doing it just to do it. So I continued to take the education courses. I still was not happy. I got placed into a 4th and 5th grade combo class the second semester of sophomore year, and that was so much better. But still, I didn't have the, the oomph, like the feeling, when something is right for you, it just clicks, and I did not have that at all. It was almost as if I wanted it so bad, and I wanted teaching to be my future so bad that I just like forced myself to like it, and I forced myself to block out all the doubt and all the negative thoughts about it that I had. It was just a wild 2 years is like the best way I can put it. It was so wild and it was so confusing. So basically, my complete sophomore and junior year, I was just floundering around. I was just going with the flow, which if you live life like that, that's not a bad thing. But I know for me, like, I was just floating. Like, I wasn't doing anything for a specific purpose. I was just doing it to get by. That was really hard for me because I am a person that needs structure in their life and I need a plan. And when my plan is interrupted, like, I just go crazy. Like, I don't know what to do. I panic and I feel like I'm drowning. And that's basically what I felt for 2 years, was I felt like I was drowning. And honestly, it was so damaging to myself and my mental health. I literally did not know what to do. I felt like I was all alone because all my friends know what they wanted to do. All my friends were set in their majors and they were just like, I love my major, like I love this, I love that. This is so the career path for me. And I felt like I was so alone, sitting there listening to them and just thinking to myself, like, I wish I had that, So around the middle of my junior year, I actually changed my major to integrated studies, which is the same department as an education major. It's just tweaked slightly differently. At my school, if you're an education major, you have to take very specific classes for teachers. So there's like music for teachers, PE for teachers, like et cetera, et cetera. Instead of all those, I had to take completely different courses that still corresponded to like music and physical fitness, but it wasn't for teachers. It was just classes from those other departments that really kind of delved into all that information, but without the teacher side of things. Because at that point, I was just like, you know what, I don't want to be a teacher anymore. And I seriously considered changing my major to business or anything, but business was like my main thing, that if I were to switch, I would switch over to that because, as you guys know, like, I have a makeup Instagram. I interned for a makeup company. Honestly, I love the business side of things, but if you know me, and you know me well, I am so not a cubicle office person. I tried that out with my internship, and while it was fun, it just wasn't right. Like, how teaching wasn't a right fit, neither was working in an office. So I had kind of flip-flopped with wanting to change my major to business, but then kind of being held back because I know that that's so not who I am. Like, who I am is very creative and I love to get up and move around. Like, I can't be tied down specifically when it comes to a job. I need variety, which is why I think being a teacher was so appealing to me, because no day is the same, and dealing with different kids every year, you get that change. But I had really struggled with if I wanted to change my major, and I finally did, to integrated studies. So with that, I took a business class, and that's where I kind of like got into the deeper side of having your own business, and it was like an entrepreneurship class. So the professor was really, really helpful. I actually thought of going to get my MBA after I graduate from college, but that's a whole other story. If you guys want a video on grad school, I can totally do that for you. I guess what I'm trying to say is just I was so completely lost, and I just felt like I was drowning. And to be honest, it was so bad for my mental health because I wasn't doing anything to be happier. I wasn't doing anything to change the way I felt. And to be honest, like, it's really hard to do that because for me, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know where to start. And if you have ever experienced like this specific situation before, like, you know that it's a very, very difficult situation to navigate through because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what is out there. And it's just, it all comes down to blind faith is like the best way I can put it. What was an added stressor was that I go to a private school, and as you guys may know, private schools are a lot more expensive than state schools or public schools, and my parents pay for my education, which I am so grateful for. So because my parents are paying for my education, I felt the added stress of committing to one specific major and one specific path in life because I felt guilty. I felt guilty that they were wasting all this hard-earned money on me, especially when I didn't even know what I wanted to do. And of course, like, as you guys can see, I'm getting emotional just talking about it right now. And of course, I talked to a lot of professionals about this. I talked to so many of my advisors. I talked to the department secretary about stuff. I even went to counseling through my school to like talk to somebody who didn't have any background knowledge on me and to just like let everything out and just talk. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I always feel better talking to somebody who doesn't know my story and my background, and they can give you a third-party opinion that isn't biased from their knowledge of you, if you guys get what I'm saying. So fast forward to very, very, very end of my junior year. So this is second semester. I actually had to take an art class that was geared towards teachers just because that was part of my requirements. And I am so glad that I took that class because not only was it so fun, but I met an amazing professor who honestly changed my life. She is also a high school art teacher in addition to being a college professor, and the way that she teaches us and the way that she structured the class and how she told us about how she teaches her high school class, it all just like clicked for me. I was just like, I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Like, I feel like I'm a creative person, like drawing and painting and playing with makeup. Makeup to me is an art form. It is something I use to express myself. So I was just like, it totally clicked. Like, I should be an art teacher. And through that class and through my professor now mentoring me and me going to shadow her classes and stuff, I am 99% positive that I am going to be an art teacher. So it's good that I didn't choose business to switch into and that I stayed in the education department technically, because now I have like a smoother transition into what I'm going to do for grad school and what I want to do in the future. And I'm so happy that I found my way back to a path that just feels right for me. Even when I was doubting myself about being a teacher, I still felt so passionate about reform and getting kids out of the cycle of oppression and just loving kids to the point where they want to do better and they want to contribute to the world. You know, I never wanted to be a teacher to like teach shapes and colors. I wanted to be a teacher to teach kids how to be good people and how to give back to the world and how to be kind to others. Needless to say, that semester was a very eye-opening experience for me, and even though I didn't change my major to something completely different, I still feel like my experience is validated through all that confusion and all the tears that I went through those 2 years. I know in the future I'm going to look back on it and be like, wow, 2 years is like not that much. Like, I don't know what I was thinking stressing out that much, but even looking back on it now, I'm so grateful that that happened, because what so many people told me is that if you were to contemplate your choices in life and your career path, it's better to do it while you're in college. So many people ask me the question, well, if you had to do this, would you rather do it now or would you rather go through it later? And of course, the answer is now. Like, I'm so happy that it happened now rather than in the future when I've been established in a career and I had to start all over from scratch at an older age. So really, I'm super thankful that this happened. And I know a lot of people go through the same exact thing, if it's a little bit different depending on the situation, but so many people stress out about not picking the right major and going into career path and being stuck in that same career path for the rest of your life. If you need to hear this piece of advice, I'm here to tell you that your major does not define your future. I have talked to so many people about what they majored in college and what they're doing now, and honestly, like, sometimes it's on completely opposite, like, polar end. I was talking to somebody that was, I majored in education, but I went on to be like a project manager at a factory. Or Nate's mom, she majored in kinesiology and she did IT for so many years. And I think what's most important to remember is that no matter what happens, you will find your way on the specific path that was meant for you, whether you believe in God or any other higher power. Like, the universe has a plan for you and you're going to get there no matter what you do. So I think that's just really important to keep in mind, and just to have faith, honestly, in not only in the future, but yourself. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but it's honestly like one of the best pieces of advice that I could give to someone who is in the situation. Coming from somebody who semi went through it. I mean, I know I kind of stuck with like the same realm of things, but I feel like my situation is still validated through all like the confusion I went through for 2 years. My main advice is to not stress about the future and to just let things come your way and to just keep doing what you're doing. Take active steps, of course, to try to figure out what you want to do. Like, if someone were to come up to me and ask me for advice on the same situation, I would honestly tell them to try new things and take a variety of classes if you're already in college. Get out and try to experience the world. Travel a little bit, like change up your routine a little bit so you're not stuck in the same rut every day, and just try to do something different to clear your mind. Also, don't forget to focus on yourself. That's something that I did not do up until like the start of this year. I always had a job from the end of high school up until last year. I worked a restaurant job, I worked retail jobs, I worked so many different jobs. I worked on campus, in the cafeteria, and even my parents were just like, you're working too hard. You need to step back and take a break and enjoy your life. And I know not everybody has the same situation or the same support system that I have, but even if you have just like one close friend or like a roommate or something, like hold on to that. And even if you don't have that support system, you still have yourself. So honestly, if you have a bad mindset about everything, like, oh, this sucks, like, I'm not going to get through this, like, of course you're not going to get through it because you don't believe in yourself. But if you give out, like, positive energy and you are actively taking steps to better yourself and to calm down and to reevaluate stuff that is going on, it's going to get so much better because you are working on yourself. And I know not everybody has the luxury of, like, quitting their jobs or, like, taking time off to go travel, but there are so many little things you can do throughout the day, like breathing, like just sitting there and breathing and being still and just savoring the moment is just so helpful. I started taking out like 10-15 minutes of my day at the end of the night to journal, and honestly, journaling is so therapeutic and it's just so nice to see your thoughts out on paper, and there's something about it that just brings a clarity to your mind, at least for me. Like, I can't speak for everybody else. Like, you might not like writing, but it worked for me, so I'm sharing my experience. But if you are to take one piece of advice away from this, it is okay to not know what you want to do. If you are in high school, college, whatever, you know, go to community college and figure out what you want to do instead of diving into a 4-year university like I did. Like, take the time to navigate throughout different careers and take different classes. But at the end of the day, it is your life. And if you're not happy with something, change it. That's all I have to say on the subject. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I know it was kind of all over the place and it's so awkward crying on camera, and I know I'm going to hate myself when I edit this. And I know society places a stigma on people who are confused and they don't know what they want to be when they grow up. But I am here to tell you that that is a stupid, stupid rule, and that you should own not knowing what you want to do, because there are so many people out there who are in the same boat as you and nobody ever talks about it. And they should. Again, it is okay if you don't know what you want to do. Just be sure to take the active steps to figure out what you want to do instead of just bumming it out like I did for the last 2 years. But that is all I have to say. I love you guys so much, and if you guys like these story times and like deep talks, like this video, comment down below any other topics you want me to discuss on camera, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, all that good, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. Also, can we talk about my background? I love it. I need to get more clamps so it's not so wrinkled, but honestly, I'm living for it. Okay, that's all I had to say. Bye.